Hi, everybody, and welcome to my channel, Planted Not Buried. I am the podcast host. I'm the speaker and following on YouTube. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. So far, we have talked about our calling versus our purpose. We have talked about resilience over resentment, power from anger, triggered, internal need for validation, why smart people fail. We have covered a lot of things. This is titled Don't Leave That Relationship Until.
Everyday People is a segment of my show that I want to dedicate for those that are literally in this world but not of it. Those that are even of this world to come and to be healed, to come and let light be, let there be a transformation in their life. That when they come into this atmosphere, they're healed.
What God has for you is truly for you. And as men and women of God, we oftentimes lose it because we seek the validation of friends. We seek the validation of, girl, are you going through the same thing I'm going through? Or my guy, is she just as as her mother, as her father, as her friends, as it this? Are we all going through the same thing? And I love when people say to don't talk about your and I wholeheartedly believe that. Do not talk about the intimacy of your relationship because now the relationship is no longer intimate. But I need Christians to start being real about what they go through in a relationship. You are going to go through the tough times. That's what's going to produce love. That's what's going to show love. That's what's going to solidify you in love, is going through the motions. The motions is called life. It doesn't say just because you're going through the motions that you're getting tossed to and fro, because your faith is unwavering. Your faith is centering you in where you are in the relationship. Keeping Jesus in the middle of your relationship is what's going to help it to grow. Men, don't think that when you are getting in a relationship, and even for women, that, oh, when I'm with this person, we're not going to argue, or to think that a couple is like, oh, we never argue. Hold on, it's coming. It's coming. To be able to see eye to eye on everything, where are you growing? Did you get an enabler or did you get an accountability partner? Did you get an enabler or did you get a helpmate? You will not see eye to eye on everything. That's going to force you to come together to use one another, not exploit one another, but to use one another for where they are in their walk and their calling. And although as women, we so heartily, and this is where I erred, some of us, God has given us a spirit that could be even stronger than the spouse that you're with. And you think that this man is not for you because I want a man that's going to lead me spiritually, when God is saying, I actually wanted you to lead. How quickly do we forget this is not your life? This is God's. Especially if you're a child of God. You've given up your life. You've given up the desires, the selfish desires, the selfish ambitions for his plan, for his glory. Women are more spiritual, but that doesn't make you a better, effective leader. Just because the man is not more spiritual than you does not mean he's not the leader of the family. As a woman, how can you politely, how could you humbly, how could you correctly, how could you gently come to him and say, baby, I know that you wanted to go left, but I'm really hearing God saying maybe we should turn right. What do you think? I think we should seek God together. I think that as we sleep tonight and as we offer our praises, as we offer our thanksgiving, that if we truly seek the face of God, that he will speak to us. Let's try tonight. Let's see. Let's go into a time of fasting. Let's see. But so don't desire to be like Mary and Joseph, and one received a physical encounter with an angel and the other one received one in a vision of the night. Dreams and visions are different. They're different. Don't think and don't walk out of the relationship until you understand this truth about who you are and who this person is. There's a difference. You know A person knows when they're ready to date because your desire increases. Not desire to have sex, not a desire to just have physical intimacy, but on a spiritual level, on a deeper level. We often walk out and miss the very thing that God wanted to give to us, to birth to birth through us, because of our dissatisfaction and our discomfort of where we are and where they are. It would be a lie before God if I would tell you you're not going to argue, that you're not going to have disagreements, that you're not going to be edified, that you're not going to be challenged. Those are healthy things, and society has taught us to shy away from a man that challenges you, shy away from a woman that challenges you, because when a man comes home, because when a woman comes home, they want to be at peace, not challenged. This whole life is orchestrated to produce the very best out of you. And I know that you keep looking for rest, but rest outside of Jesus is comfort. Comfort sounds nice, it is not biblical. Desire to have rest, and in your relationship you should have rest. Resting is knowing that you already have the victory. Resting is knowing that I no longer have to be paranoid, I don't have to be anxious, I can be present. You rest in the present, and the person that you are with should be able to rest. You should find rest within the relationship. And why am I saying you should have rest in the relationship? Because wherever Jesus is, you have rest. Don't leave that man. Don't leave that woman. If you have found Christ, if you are making Christ your center point, you are both making Christ your center point. But the other person is gravitating a little bit more. Hey, because when one person is closer to Jesus in this season, you may need that other person to bring you a little bit further in the next. Don't be wise in your own eyes to think that just because the level spiritually of where the man and the woman is right now will be their home, will be their current dwelling place. It just or their forever dwelling place. It's just where they are currently. Can you love them? And I love when the pastor or the officiary in the wedding ceremony says, "Will you love this person? Will you commit to loving this person? Will you commit to being with this person for better, for worse?" The good, the bad, the ugly, in sickness and in health. That means it's arranged. That means life is arranged. That means there's going to be different circumstances that are going to pull different things out of people. Are you committing to this person because it's going to get ugly? Are you committing to this person? And if you can honestly say right now, without any doubt, you can commit to this person through Christ Jesus, then you found the one. If you are doubting your ability to love a person, that doubt is driven by fear. That doubt is highlighting you're fearful in an area. And the only reason why you're fearful in an area is because you lack faith in the area. So as much as we are pointing to the lack of faith within a spouse to change their ways, don't desire for a spouse to change their ways to make you happy and to appease you. Your desire, your prayer should be, Lord, have a repentant mind that is given to them daily. Help me to love them through and through. Lord, help me so my mind is renewed. Help me to be a positive influence for my loved one. Help me to be a safe place for their loved one. Help me to be a safe haven for them through your love, Christ Jesus. Help me to see the blind spots. Help me to cover them where they're lacking in their armor. It is a difficult job to walk in the fullness, in the boldness, in the full armor of God consistently. So have grace and have mercy. Sometimes it gets heavy. I would be foolish to think that a man doesn't love me when they consistently show their desire to constantly love me and to be there for me and to grow with me. Love is being able to abide thick and thin. We abide in love. When a tree is planted, when a seed is planted, it goes through seasons. Seasons change. As seasons change, the weather changes. You kind of know what season you're in based on the temperament and the weather that's outside. So you know when it's a good time to receive a harvest. You know when it's a good time to plant. You know, but that's coming from discernment. That's coming from learning something about yourself and that person. If you are not willing to sacrifice your comfort zone for humility, if you're not willing to sacrifice your comfort zone for marriage, you're not ready to be married. Saying that we have conditional love for the person that we're with, but the love comes with conditions. I'll love him if he stops drinking. I'll love him if he stops smoking. I'll love him if he stops doing this and if he stops doing that. Again, I'm not saying take abuse. The condition that we put on our love. When God says to love and to love freely, he didn't say be silly. He didn't say to not operate in discernment. So again, I want you to hear me by the Spirit of God when I'm speaking of the difference in the heart posture that you have to have when you are looking for a spouse and looking for a mate. And for those who think that it is an accomplishment, or for those who think that God has wants you to be celibate for 10, for 13, for 7 years, or however long you think he's asking you to be alone or singleness, it's not good for men to be alone. But then we have people that's, oh, God just wants me to be single. How? You don't know your purpose by now? You don't have it together by now? You keep asking for help. You keep asking for help. But every time a man comes, but he's coming with flaws, oh, God didn't send him. Every time the woman is coming, but the woman's coming with flaws, oh, God didn't send them. You don't know. You don't know the God that you serve. He wants you to represent love, to represent love a way for them, a way to them that they have never known before. And once you start accepting, the quickest way to find your mate is to accept where you are and to learn how to accept love as it is given, not love as you desire. Love as it is given, as it is given. And no, don't put so much on the person that they become your God. When we do that, that is how you know, I'm going to realign that. Am I giving you too much credit? Am I giving you too much responsibility? Am I making you work so hard for love when God is giving me his love freely? My only response is to love others, not judge others. You can judge a situation, but don't judge others. We miss that. We miss that. I don't want this to be too lengthy. I just want women to stop thinking and men to stop thinking that your spouse is coming as a pretty package and without flaws. They are. That your spouse is not coming to you with a luggage of sin, because they are. They are. It may not be the sin that you thought. It may not be the sin that you thought that you could carry, that your love can cover up. Don't you know that love covers all? Don't you know that love, perfect love, casts out all fear? Don't you know that sin is attracted to fear? Sin is purely missing the mark. To fear something is to not have wisdom. To fear something is to not have faith. To fear something is to not have love in that area. Perfect love casts out fear. Could it be that you're fearful of receiving a spouse than less than what you deserve is because you think they're going to leave you? Or you think that when they discover your real flaws, so you try to beat them to the punch, you try to figure out, well, what are your flaws? Is this going to work? Oftentimes we are looking to pick a spouse because flaws we want them to match. Or, oh, you're struggling through this and I don't want to go through that again. Well, hold on. Because if you've been through something before, then you should have grace. You should have mercy. You should be able to love that person through it, because you also needed God to love you through that moment, not self-righteousness. Not to say I'm not putting up with that again. I'm not going down that alley again. Jonah made the same error of not wanting to show and represent God's love. He said, God, you already know these people. They're not going to listen to you. They're not going to listen to me. Da, 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 da. He had a laundry list of all of these things, and God saying, just go and love them. If you would go and preach to them how I love, that's all I wanted you to do. And we miss it. And then 35 years have passed. You're still single. Do you think that out of all of the men that you have passed by, that all of them were taken? What do you radiate, woman of God? What do you radiate, man of God? Is it your self-confidence? Are you too critical on yourself? If you are critical on yourself, you will tend to find someone that is also critical. So when you get together, you think that, oh, this is not going to work because that other person is judgmental. That other person is too critical of me. God is just showing you a reflection of yourself. When you learn to love yourself through Christ, then you can love that person for where they are as well. When God puts people together, it becomes a ministry. It becomes a ministry. Everything is after that ministry. Everything is going to be inched towards tearing that thing apart from the beginning. Your responsibility is to remember this world is coming against you. Stick together, but you can only stick together through Christ. Christ is your binding. You abide in love. You abide in the faith you have. You abide in the love that you have. That's good. I wanted to read something because as I was preparing for this YouTube, within my spirit, I heard this. Don't leave that man until this. Signs to know that he's worth it. Don't forfeit your helpmate because it looks ugly. When Eve had made the mistake in the garden and Adam covered her, he represented what marriage truly looks like. When when Adam and Eve had let sin in, their love was not perfected. Not yet. Love, perfect love, is Jesus. They hadn't come to know him yet. But us, as believers, we also have not come to know the fullness of Jesus Christ. We are ever changing. We are ever growing in our understanding. We are ever trying to get the picture. How do you become more like Jesus? How does your marriage, how does your relationship, how does the spouse, how does the significant other get to become more like Jesus? The more you surrender, the more you both surrender. Imagine both of you surrendering to the same plans that God has for you. Imagine you surrendering to the same God. Imagine you surrendering under the same love and what that love represents. Then you procreate that love. And you have children. And your ministry takes off. And the businesses takes off. And the houses come. And the resources of heaven completely opens up. And healing comes. And faith is increased. You think that your faith is enough by itself when God is saying, I want you to join your faith together. Shame on me. Forgive me, Father, for thinking that my faith was stronger than my significant others because it came at a different time. Because it takes faith for you to stay in a relationship when the other person is begging to leave. It takes faith to see someone through their hardest times, their hardest moments, their weakest moments, their most vulnerable moments. Because in one moment, you could be saying, Hosanna, Hosanna. And the next minute, you're saying, crucify them. How unwavering your faith should be, but it is not always so. And so, women, as our emotional instability, as our emotions are like roller coasters, men are typically logical. What faith are you relying on? Whose faith are you riding on? Because in a relationship, the Lord is going to work on you, the Lord is going to work on them, and the Lord is going to work on y'all. And just because you think He's not really talking to me right now, He's not really working on me right now, we're dealing about you, don't gang up on your significant other thinking that God is not also working on you. Don't forfeit your helpmate because they sinned. Don't forfeit your helpmate because they're not are where you are. Your ability to help them, your ability to humble yourself, your ability to wait on the Lord. Just because you want things to move at a rapid pace doesn't mean that's how fast God wants to take things. Enjoy the simplicity of the relationship. Enjoy the love that is being built in the relationship. And get good at loving through the hard times. Get good at loving through what's the word I'm looking for? Shady moments. Get comfortable loving through uncomfortable moments. That's what marriage truly is. And for those that are saying, I don't want to go through anything, just because you're not married to a person doesn't mean you're not married to a thing. Because we oftentimes misplace our marriage for items. The ones that sleep with the phones in the bed, the ones that sleep with their laptops in the bed, the ones that prioritizes their businesses and all of their desires before the desire is to be with God. Don't think that just because you're a Christian that you are going to get a devoted pastor. Don't envy what you see someone else have, because that's not your portion. We oftentimes want to take the portion that God has given someone else because we're sitting at the same table, but not knowing your portion is coming. Just wait. Just because I've made room for you at the table, just because you see someone else eating before you, doesn't mean you get to take their portion. Doesn't mean you get to envy what they have. You know, when you're in a restaurant and the waiter will bring something right past your table, and if your eyes are fixed on the food and not the waiter, you'll miss where it's going. You'll miss who it's actually intended for. If you are solely looking at that food and not who's carrying it, you'll miss it. You could have ordered the same thing as someone else, but it's going to a different table. It just went right past you because your portion is not ready. Just because your spouse is not ready for marriage at the same time you're ready for marriage, or you're ready to go deeper in your relationship, doesn't mean forfeit and run. Can you stay and wait? Where is your ability to love that person? Where's your ability to discern? This is for me. And right now, what I have, I'm going to work with what I got. God does not give you anything finished. He is not giving you a finishing product. He gives you raw material and say, build it, work with it, steward over it, guard it, watch after it, love it, nurture it. He never gives you anything finished. So don't leave that relationship until you understand what it truly means to be with a loving man or a loving woman. And if you don't know what true love looks like, you will never know what it looks like in a man until Jesus becomes the lover of your soul. You won't even be able to discern what it looks like in another person. The character of Jesus is what you're looking for, not the perfection of Jesus, because he's the only one that can perfect that person. And that's all for episode 7.
We're driving cars on a Mars tonight. We're passing off to the stars tonight.